All right, greetings, teacher sellers. I'm Chris Skierski here with our TpT mini conference, and I'm here with teacher Jade, and she's going to be talking to us about how to start an online teaching business. Good morning, good afternoon, Jade. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us. We're very excited to learn all it is that you're going to teach us. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about you and the Jade's Writing Academy.
Yes. I actually like telling people how it happened. So my Teacher Jay's Writing Academy came from an aha moment. I did not sit down and say, "Ooh, I want to start my own business." Um, I was teaching in a regular school, traditional public school, and I had all these side jobs because teacher salary is just not that much. And one of those side jobs was teaching online. And one day my daughter came home from school and she asked me if I could homeschool her. And I told her no. I was like, no, I have to work while I'm in front of my computer working. And she goes, well, you already teach online. Aha moment. Yes, I do teach online. And then I started transitioning to when she asked me homeschool, I said, well, let me focus on teaching online so I can homeschool my child. And then within the first year of me teaching online, it became so lucrative. I was making so much more money that I'd ever made teaching in a classroom that I was like, aha moment number two, this is a business. It's not a side hustle. And this was years before COVID happened. So it was still relatively new. And I was teaching online using Skype. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what courses do you teach online? And then you also teach teachers to teach online, right?
Yes. So I was kind of our first year of homeschooling, we started something called world schooling. Didn't know that existed. I thought we were just doing something so amazing. But we traveled abroad. So we went to over 20 countries. And while we're traveling, I was documenting it. I was just posting stuff. And I had a lot of families reaching out like, oh, well, we want to homeschool. Can you teach our kids? First answer was no. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm enjoying my life right now. So when I started my writing academy, I didn't actually start off as a writing academy. I had history class, I had writing classes, I had art classes. And because the demand got so large, I had to narrow the focus down because one person couldn't do it all. And so it was middle school writing. That was it. I was only offering middle school writing classes. And then I started to scale. So I was able to hire teachers who could do upper elementary and who could do high school level classes, but I still just stuck to writing. And with the success of my academy, I then had different organizations and companies reaching out to me, asking me to train their teachers on how they could teach online. Third aha moment, I can make money doing this. So I'm like, people are paying me to teach them how to do what I already know how to do. So the second part of my business is teaching adults how to teach online. And it's not just academic classes. I've had people who want to be, well, I shouldn't say they want to be chefs. They are chefs. So I've had chefs that I've worked with. I'm working with someone who's in IT right now, and I never know what she's talking about because it's not my area of expertise, but I'm walking her through how to create her online courses. So it's really anybody who has a skill set can offer it online.
Nice. So the classes you teach to the students, not to the teachers, those are dominantly English classes, and are they a full year or are they like segments?
So I actually don't have the patience for anything that's going to be scheduled out for a year. So the longest course that I offer live is 8 weeks. And then it meets every other week. So I like to have freedom and flexibility. So all my writing courses, I have one-time classes, 4-week long classes, and then I have ongoing classes. So it's like subscription based. They come in when they want to, they leave when they want to. And then all of my classes that are over 8 weeks are pre-recorded.
Nice. Okay, I have a few questions about the semantics of the class before we start getting into you explaining how we could be doing this. So the
Yes.
students who sign up for these, are these students who are wanting to do virtual school, or are they in a school somewhere and they're trying to like get a tutoring like enhancement, or are they homeschool students? Who's your normal client?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, when I first started, about 80% of like my clients were homeschool families. And then I kind of saw like a transition shift. And this was maybe like a year or two before COVID. And I had families that were reaching out to me, asking me if their children could take my classes, really to supplement what they weren't learning in the classroom, or they feel like their child was falling behind and they just want to use my courses again as a supplement, not to replace a course. And then right now, it's about 60% of the families I work with are doing some form of homeschooling, whether it's like real homeschooling or in school, what they call it, the at home homeschool, where they're still signed into a program through like their public school system, and they'll sign up for my classes in place of whatever writing program that the school's offering. And then the other 40%, they are in school, and the parents want them to have that extra boost because they're not writing a lot. Most of the families I work with, they're telling me like, oh, my child has written one essay the entire school year. And me, I'm like, what? Only one essay? They're gonna write 4 essays in 4 weeks, and they do. So yeah, it's not completely even, but it's almost right there, 50-50.
Could you give us an example of like what one of your shorter or your 1-day classes and one of your shorter classes, what would the student be signing up to learn?
Yes. So I should also say none of my classes are over 50 minutes. I also like short little classes, but it's my own thing. I don't have enough patience to sit still for 40 minutes. And most of the kids I work with, they don't want to sit still for 40 minutes either. So the one-time class is my longest class. It's 45 minutes. And it's an introduction to writing the basic 5-paragraph essay. And so we go through, I explain how to write an introduction, how to write a body paragraph, and how to write a conclusion. I give them their assignment, they turn it in, I read it, I give them feedback, they turn it again, they revise it, they turn it in for their final grade. And the one-time class is created to funnel them into the longer class. So sometimes parents will say, well, we want to find out if it's a good fit. Before we sign up for this 4-week long class that costs more, we want to see if this is going to be a good fit for our child. Okay, well, I don't offer free classes. I don't offer trial classes. So you can sign up for this one-time class. They love it. You funnel them into the 4-week long class. That's a part 1. They love that one. I funnel them from part 1 to the part 2 class. And then all my classes actually built from parents asking me what's next. So that one-time class is like the introductory. Like you get to see who I am, you get to see my teaching style, you get to see how your child's going to interact with me. And yeah, then I'm pushing you to go to the next course.
Incredible. That's great. Okay. Um, where do you host the classes? What platform or platforms?
Yes. So my own website, when I first started, I was trying to figure stuff out. So I had my website connected to my Skype account, connected to Schoology. And Schoology is like Google Classroom. And so it was my LMS, my learning management system. And then when I finally got my own website, I put everything, all the integrations on my website. So I use Zoom now. Skype is old news, but I use Zoom. But that way they come into the class, they can click on the button, and then here we are in Zoom. I also have my classes listed on OutSchool, OurSchool, Udemy, Osmosis. I always say it wrong because they have an extra letter in there that's not supposed to be there. But basically any marketplace where you can list an online course, I have my classes listed, even though they're not all active. And I list it there so that Teacher Jade's Writing Academy still pops up. You type it in, you're going to see it everywhere, even though I don't have active classes on all those platforms.
Okay. So if the student, I assume most of those are pre-recorded. So how do you get notified when you have an active class? Like explain the logistics behind that.
Yeah, so my pre-recorded classes, the way they're set up, I get an email notification. So it's kind of like a Dropbox. They submit their work and it goes to the Dropbox, but then I get an email notification like check your email or check it's not a Dropbox, but it's basically like Dropbox, right? So I get a notification letting me know that someone has submitted their work. I just go in there, open it, give them feedback, and then send it back to them.
Okay. So let's transition to you teaching us how to do something like this. So start with the why. Why should a teacher who's selling resources on Teachers Pay Teachers, so they've got that entrepreneurial bug, why
Mhm.
should they start offering courses online?
So this is the thing. If you are creating content, somebody else is using that content, and even some people are using it for their classroom. But what I noticed when I first started offering classes on OutSchool, there were a lot of new teachers. They were coming in there purchasing things off TpT, and then I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but at some point there was something that went on with OutSchool and TpT where they're like, sellers don't want y'all buying their stuff and using it for profit. That is not the intent of it. And if you do, you have to get permission from them. So imagine you've already created all this content for someone else to use, and then they take that content that you've created, and now they are continuously making money from offering courses based off your content, when you could just take your content and teach it yourself and make that income. And you can still sell it too, but there's a lot of teachers who teach online. And when I say teachers, I'm referring to, I should say instructors, people who like to teach, because it's not just academics, right? But it's a lot of people who don't know how to create content for what they're teaching, or it's not something that they enjoy doing. So I've hired people to make courses for me. And it's just because, like, I'll have my template, and I have one class, there's 25 series. And so I made the first 15, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to make the other ones. So I would just give them the outline, like, I need you to go make the rest. Follow this template. It's here for you. Go fill it out and tell me how much I have to pay you. So if you're already creating this content, that is also something you can teach. You could also teach people how to make content. Do you know how people don't know how to make a worksheet? You could make a class teaching someone how to do that.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Thank you. Okay, so I'm a teacher, pay teacher seller, and I'm watching your Instagram videos, which are great, by the way. Thank you for making them. And you've convinced me I should start teaching online. So how do I decide what to teach, and how do I start thinking about the cost and the length? Like, how do I figure out the logistics for me?
Yeah, so I say it's easy for me to say, it's so easy, it's so simple, it's so basic, because it's something that I do. But you first want to determine what you want to teach. And I always say, like, focus on one thing, and that does not mean that's the one thing that you have to teach. So you just want to start off with one thing. If you start thinking about the 15 things that you can teach, then you're going to try to work on 15 things at the same time. So narrow it down, focus on one thing, and then create your outline. If you use a lesson plan or outline, just kind of bullet point how you're going to offer that class. So if I have my 4-week long writing class, I was like, okay, this is what we're doing first week, second week, third week, fourth week. And then just follow the same pattern. You don't have to do anything fancy. My classes start off with introduction, icebreaker, mini lecture, and then 3 to 4 times where I'll stop and I'll ask them a question to gauge their understanding, the assignment, and the exit ticket. Every single class follows that structure. So for me, it's just easy to kind of knock it out. So create your lesson plan, and then create the visual that you're going to offer along with your class. So I use Canva, and like when you're in Zoom, you pull up your presentation. That's what you're going to use when you're teaching. And I should also say this, you don't always need a visual. If you're teaching a dance class, you are the visual, it's you. So you don't always need a presentation. So after you create this content for your course, write out your course description, because people need to see what you're offering. Let people read it. If they have questions, your course description is not clear enough. If people still don't know what you're offering, you need to make sure that your course description is extremely clear. And then you start marketing your class. If you're offering your classes on a marketplace like OutSchool or AllSchool, they do the marketing as well, but it's still your business. If you're thinking about it as a business, then you need to promote it. You need to tell people about it. I also recommend doing a mock class. So after you've created your class, you hit up your friends with kids. If you're teaching classes to kids, you say, let me borrow your children. I want them to come take this class that I'm making. And you kind of should have an idea of how long you want the class to be. So I know my class times are like 40 minutes. So I'm trying to put all my information in within 40 minutes. And since I have like about 15 to 20 minutes, so I know how much time I have to spend on each one of those things. And then take those children, practice, teach them. And when you're done, ask for feedback. Children are honest. They will tell you what they liked and what they didn't like, what you should keep and what you shouldn't keep. And then that kind of helps you adjust your course to fit exactly how you want it to look. And now for pricing, that's always the big question. I charge what I feel like I'm worth, but I do look at what other people are, like other prices. So when I first started offering my writing courses, I did look at the writing courses that I want to emulate. I didn't look at other individual, like private teachers that were offering writing classes. I looked at IEW, I looked at Brave Writers, I looked at the big ones. I was like, okay, this is the level of quality that I want to offer my courses. This is how much they're charging. I can charge that too. I deserve it. I feel like I'm worth it. So I priced it competitively, but I also priced it at the level that I felt like I was going to be offering courses at. So a lot of people will come in and offer like a $5 class, a $10 class. I'm providing quality, so I want to get paid for the quality of work that I'm providing. So I always say don't aim low. Charge what you're worth, and then consider the amount of time that you spend creating your class. So one 40-minute class could take, well, it used to take me like an hour to 2 hours to make a class that was only going to run for 40 minutes. And now that I have my templates, I can make a class in like 30 minutes. But if I'm spending 2 hours creating a class, I need to be paid for those 2 hours. If I'm spending 40 minutes teaching a class, I need to be paid for that. And then I teach writing classes. So I'm also providing feedback after the class is over. I also need to be paid for that. So I put all of that time and effort into the price of my courses.
Nice. Thank you. Very, very informative. Great answers. Much appreciated. So question, I've decided what I want to teach. I think I know how long it should last. I've given it a price. Then do you recommend I put it on all those platforms that you said, or should I just pick one and start there?
So the reason why I say put them on all the platforms, you might have great success on one platform and not the other one. The one where you feel like, okay, I'm getting the most enrollments, go heavy and hard on that platform. The other ones is just listed there for the visibility. So my school is Teacher Jade's Writing Academy. So if someone types in Teacher Jade's Writing Academy, I want to pop up everywhere, whether I'm offering a class there or not. So if I'm not offering classes on all school, but someone's heard of Teacher Jay's Writing Academy, they just happen to type in essay or writing or paragraph or any of those keywords, I'm still going to pop up. If they reach out to me, then I can still offer a course to them. So it's just that increased visibility. So all school has an Asian market, out school has a US market. I mean, they've expanded, they're global, but they were based in the US first. So depending on what market you're trying to reach, and if you're trying to reach all the markets, then you need to be on all the places.
Nice. Okay, and your courses for the students, are those open year round, or do you only have certain times that you do them?
I take the summer off. And that's just because I've been able to get to a place financially where I don't have to work during the summer. I typically I kind of follow like the school calendar. So out of the school, left brick and mortar, and still am very much influenced by their calendar. So I tend to take winter break, spring break, and fall break as well. And that's also because even though I work with a lot of homeschool families, they kind of follow that school year calendar as well. So when they're off, I'm off. And then I might offer a few one-time classes. I have a storytelling class. Like I offer what I call my fun classes. Because I have a class where we play games. Like I get paid to play categories with other people's kids online. So I'll offer those classes during breaks if I feel like, if I'm bored, I'm like I have nothing to do, I don't have any plans, then I'll throw those classes up.
So in talking to you, it sounds like offering an online course when you already have teacher pay teacher products, they just complement each other very well. It's just an extra way to generate income from your products. Would you agree with that? And is there anything else you need to do besides create the videos, and then of course post it to make this work?
No, so like I will say this, when I my other class I had, since I was just offering class for middle schools, I had a lot of parents like, well, what about my babies, my 9-year-olds, my 10-year-olds? I'm like, that's not my age. I don't want to do it. So I did create a course for them. So it's the hamburger paragraph class. And I didn't come up with the hamburger paragraph method. Like that's not something I created. And I made a worksheet, and I made like all the little things that kind of go along with the course, and I put it on TpT. So I used to have my stuff on TpT until I had my own website. And then I started offering stuff on my own website. But yeah, basically anything that you're already creating, you can turn it into a class. And let's say like you have zero interest in teaching online, you're like, I don't want to do that, I love making content. I would say reach out to those people who are offering classes online, and that could be a service that you provide them with to make the content for their class. Like, hey, whatever class idea you have, let me know what it is. I can make the content for the class, or if you just want me to make the handouts, the worksheets, a workbook, if that's a skill set that you already have because you're creating this type of content for TPT, then that's another option. If you're like, yeah, teaching online, don't want to do that, you can still work with people who are doing it. And the people who make my content, they charge a lot. So, I mean, that is something that's another option.
Nice. Okay. So I think this is hopefully my last question. I've created my content, I've posted it up, I've got a price and everything, so people can now enroll. How do I start marketing my course?
So the first thing I always recommend outside of like social media is word of mouth. Start with your inner circle. Tell the people you know that you're offering classes, and ask them to tell people as well. And then as far as social media, it's not just posting something on your personal page. Like if you're on Facebook, join the homeschool groups. Join any group that's relevant to what you're offering. So if you're offering art classes, join those different Facebook groups that are about art. If it's cooking, join those Facebook groups, and don't just go in there to advertise your classes. So I offer writing classes, but I would never just go into a homeschool group and start posting flyers. So it's spammy and it's annoying. What I do is go in the search and I'll type in keywords like essay, writing, paragraph, and these are the words I'll type in the search. And then all the posts pop up. Hey y'all, my child's struggling with writing. What are you using to help? I'm using Teacher Jade's Writing Academy. Check it out. So actually become a part of the community and engage in those posts. And even if no one signs up for your class from that post, they start seeing your name. They start seeing you pop up. They're like, this is the person who teaches those writing classes. Oh, that's the essay writing lady, which they have called me. I'm like, call me what you want to. So joining those groups and then making those posts and engaging and dropping resources every now and then. So every now and then I'll just pop in like the different groups I'm in. I'm like, hey y'all, check out this worksheet. So if you have your TPT stuff, you can just drop something like a little mini freebie, and now you're also a resource. So like, this person knows what they're talking about. This is the person I need to go to when I need information about this specific topic. And then eventually they sign up for a class and they're like, oh, I wish I would have did this sooner. Yeah, I'm here.
Nice. Okay, so tell us about Teacher Jade's Writing Academy.
Yes. So Teacher Jade's Writing Academy is virtual online classes for youth ages 8 to 18, and we cover all things writing. So it's not just formal essay writing. We have creative writing, songwriting, screenwriting. I've expanded to offer all things writing for my classes, and the classes can be taken live, they can be taken pre-recorded, one-time classes, multi-week classes, nothing over 4 weeks except for the ongoing classes. Those tend to just keep going and going and going until they reach the capacity. It's like the 25 session class, they sign up, they keep coming, some leave, some come back. But yeah, that's my academy. We offer writing courses to ages 8 to 18.
And for the teachers who want to start teaching online, doing what you're telling us to do, where we create courses online, where do we go to get started, and tell us how we can learn more from you?
Yes. So my website is www.teacherjade.com. And I have a course. It's pre-recorded. It's the Get It course. And that is the course for people who they want to go at their own pace. So you sign up, you complete each module, but there's also live sessions. Everyone in the Get It course also has access to me in live sessions, which are weekly. They're on Wednesdays and Sundays, every other Wednesday, every other Sunday, I should say. And I also have the accelerator program, and that's for people who like, I don't want self-paced. I want to do it. I want to finish my work. And those classes meet 3 days a week, and it's a 4-week long program. And everyone who signs up for the 4-week program is expected to launch their course at the end of the 4 weeks. Like the launch date is we go through every single step. So we start off with getting the business mindset, creating the course content, creating the course description, creating a unique position, marketing, proposals, and visibility. The email launch templates, they get that. And then we also do mock classes. And on the last day, I'm like, okay, everyone, press go, press it, make your class live. So the accelerated course is really intense, but it's for people like, I absolutely know I want to do this. And if I sign up for the Get It course, I might do the first 2 modules and then I get discouraged. Life happens and I don't finish it. The accelerated course, you're like, oh, I have to do this. I signed up, I'm here. And they're working workshops. So during the session, they are doing the work and getting it done.
Nice. Okay, and is the accelerated course always open or only certain times?
So the accelerated course is every other month. So the next one is in March. So it's starting in a couple of days, and their launch date is April 1st. And then the next one is starting May, and their launch date will be June 1st. And then the next one won't be until August. And the reason I'm putting that one out in August is for those people who are like, hey, you want to launch by September? Do you want to launch in the fall when parents and families are signing up for classes? This is the course that you need to get into so you can actually do it.
Nice. Well, thank you again so much. This has been very informative, very motivating. I definitely think this is a great idea that a lot of us are going to try. One last time, the website is teacherjade.com, right?
Yes.
And the 2 courses are Get It and there's an accelerated course.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being part of the mini conference.
Yes. Thank you for having me.